Conservative commentator Dennis Prager did some awesome mental gymnastics about President Trump and religion. Let's watch.
There is a reason that most religious Jews, that is Orthodox Jews, and most Orthodox small o Christians support the president. It is not because they are fans of his tweets or his past behavior or the sexual conduct that he is charged with. It is because they take the Bible seriously. That's the irony. The more religious the Christian, the more wisdom he gets, and the more Orthodox the Jew, the more wisdom he gets from the Bible. I am a Bible-believing Jew, all right? I am. I get my wisdom from that book. God used a man who makes Donald Trump look like Mother Teresa, King David. King David not only committed adultery, King David had the husband killed, which is a very serious thing in life. He had him killed to cover up his adultery with the man's wife. God used him. He is to all of us, Christians and Jews, the ultimate ancestor of the Messiah. I mean, this is a very big deal, King David. He uses a prostitute. How come God picks, of all the people in Canaan, he picks a prostitute to save the Hebrew people, the Israelites, when they go into Canaan? Isn't there a lesson here? Yes, there's a lesson here. That when the public's good is concerned, the private sins of an individual are not the only thing to take into consideration.
Well, what a mighty convenient argument. So when a human being is really, really, really flawed, that's why really religious people should stick by that person and love that person and support that person. Well, that's hilarious because we all know if Donald Trump had a spotless record in terms of not cheating on his wife and not grabbing women by the pussy and not being, such an obvious narcissist and buffoon, well, then you would use that same argument. You would use, the opposite argument. You'd be like, well, this is a godly man who does all the right things and is virtuous. So weird the way it works. No matter what the individual is like, as long as he's on Team Republican, then you're gonna defend him. And you're gonna do your high-minded rationalization and tap dance. See, this is why this is so goofy, and this is why this is so ridiculous, and why nobody should take guys like Dennis Prager seriously, is because he's working backwards from his conclusion. Okay, Trump, obviously a super flawed human being. Well, now let me explain why my religion makes it so that I should be backing a really flawed human being. But if he wasn't really flawed, you'd be like, he's so perfect in every way, which is why he falls right in line with my religion and why I should be backing him. It's just so dumb. And he says at the beginning, like, hey, man, there's a reason why, like, actual religious fundamentalists believe in Trump, whether they're Christian fundamentalists or ultra-Orthodox Jews. The more religious they are, the more they believe in Trump. Yeah. It ain't the reason you gave. Is because they're not that bright. If you're a fucking fundamentalist and you believe your religion is literally true, objectively, empirically true, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. Jesus isn't God. Yahweh is not God. There's not three people, but he's really one person, but it's three people. And, God is going to return and fucking kill so many people and only allow a certain number into heaven. And, I mean, for fuck's sake, he said, quote, I am a Bible-believing Jew. Really? You shouldn't be bragging about that. You know what's in the Bible, right? Especially the Old Testament. If you're Jewish, you believe in the Old Testament. So, okay. You believe that it's an abomination to wear a mix of two different cloths. In fact, somebody should check your suit and your shirt right this second, because I guarantee you're wearing a mix of two different cloths. Almost all the business attire is a mix of different fabrics. So you're committing a sin in the eyes of God right now. Do you think shellfish is immoral and evil and you shouldn't eat shellfish? Oh my God, stay away from that stuff. I mean, when you look at the Old Testament, are you kidding me? There's the story of Lot, I think it is, where his daughters get him drunk and then rape him. This is the Bible this is the religious book that you're going to get to for all of your wisdom? There's biblical values for you. How many genocides does God commit? In the Bible, they talk about the moral and proper way to treat your slaves. So the book that you think is a good guide for life isn't even against slavery. It's just so stupid. He's working backwards from his conclusion. I think the Old Testament is correct. The Torah is correct. It's true. I believe in it. I'm a Bible-believing Jew. You're already dead wrong. You're just factually wrong. They allude to the earth being flat in the Bible. This is the book you go to. There's 7-headed dragons in the Bible. This is where you think it makes sense to fucking place your chips. I'm on that team. So you're already wrong. And then you just work backwards. How do I work backwards from defending Daddy Trump at all costs? And this is why you're not a serious person. This is why you're not a real intellectual. And so it's unfathomable to me that like Prager University on YouTube all of a sudden is popular. It's like, really? So those arguments you find convincing? That's just fucking sad. I mean, that's just sad. And then the final point is, so he's talking about fundamentalist Jews and fundamentalist Christians. They really believe in Trump. But again, it's amazing because you can back up any ideology by reading certain portions of holy books. So if you're a real big-time believer in Jesus, for example, and he said fundamentalist Christians really believe in Trump, that's true. But if you're a big-time believer in Jesus, well then how the fuck can you go for the guy who said wages are too high? That's what he said. He said that in one of the Republican debates. Wages are too high. We got to lower wages. What the fuck He's bombing 8 different countries right now. Is that in the Bible? And Jesus said, thou shalt bomb Yemen. No. I mean, you look at the things that this guy's doing. 3 million people, 3 million more people lost health care in Trump's first year in office because he did executive orders that destroy Obamacare. Now, I'm not a big defender of Obamacare. The answer is Medicare for all. That's obvious. But he somehow managed to make it worse. He did executive orders that kick 3 million more people off health care. Is that what Jesus would do? What would Jesus do? Kick about 3 million people off healthcare. So again, you're working backwards from your conclusion. You're not a serious person. You're not an intellectual. You're doing high-minded rationalization. It's pathetic, it's sad, and it's gross.